I'm actually surprised they're going through with it because I know that, you know, they're kind of worried about the, I guess optics is the word people use now, that, you know, selling these things ostensibly to the public, right? Like, I think they're fearing that getting on the National some night, that, you know, they sold all their armored personnel carriers off to, you know, preppers and hillbillies and white supremacists and whatever else.
I don't know, John. You guys are like responsible tank owners.
Oh yeah, no, we're not the guys they're worried about. We'll work over here for now, I think. Oh, you know what? He's in there. We'll go over there. I don't want to lug those batteries and jerry cans. Well, right there, that number. Yeah. That's a CFR number, or Canadian Forces Registration number. Yeah. So when we bought them, that's how you identify them. So one will be my number and one will be his number. I guess mine's going with the measles, I guess.
Camouflage.
Yeah.
You see it blends right in with those trees.
Exactly. Mark helped found a group called CMEC, the Canadian Military Education Center, out in Chilliwack. And Mark is the first guy, well, not the first guy in Canada, but the first guy that I knew that brought a tank in. So that's kind of, you know, that's how everybody met Mark, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's the guy with the tank.
I picked it up to load those two light tanks down in Montreal to brought it up here. So I left on the 2nd of July in the morning, and I'm here on Saturday morning unloading.
What did you specialize in the Army?
Tanks. I'm a tank driver, gunner, operator, loader, everything on tanks. Oh, those one they're M13. That's the 3rd generation. They're about 20,000, 15,000 pounds. They're light track, light armored. It's a little 4-engine diesel. Can go up to about 35 k's an hour in the field. Nice ride.
I'm not even getting near it. I feel like Washington going across to Delaware. This is a 6V53T. It's actually a turbocharged, so it was the last iteration of this thing before they scrapped her. I think horsepower is somewhere in the 2-something range, but I'm not sure if it says.
Horsepower is 400. The winter ones?
Is it really?
On the turbo, yeah.
Oh, wow. I stand corrected.
So, surprisingly, they actually showed up with batteries in them, but it looks like they're all dead, so we'll have to swap out the batteries and then just start flipping switches and pressing buttons and see what works and what doesn't. And you know, like on this one, when we opened up the fuel valve, it started draining fuel into the hull because somebody had disconnected the line, and you know, so that was an easy fix. But we did have to change out the batteries. Yeah, so we're hoping just to start troubleshooting them and get all 3 of them up and running by the end of the day.
So when the quartermaster sees it leave the base, warranty is over. These are cool as. Nice. They should get a little candy in there, right? Check these out.
That's the storage rack.
This one is just completely kitted, man. Got good shit in every hole.
I think they wrote the wrong number on it.
No, I don't think so, no. These things have been stored since 2012. So the last time they would have run would have been, you know, almost 8 years ago. So instead of taking the batteries out, which they actually told us they'd taken the batteries out, and to be prepared, they're all still in here. So,
What position did we have the transmission in when we were turning the diff?
pivot
Was it a
vehicle.
pivot?
That's like the closest to neutral we have.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to want to turn. It might just need a bigger wrench or something.
Okay.
They removed the two propeller shafts coming off of the transmission, and they connect the transmission, brakes, everything to the final drive. They would have done that to make it easier to drag around a yard, like a maintenance yard. But of course, it's not going to go very far with the engine. Just, you know, it's not connected to the track. So we're trying to reconnect that now. But having been dragged around, it's not lining up the way it used to. So. Well, we'll get it.
You got that little red spot, red dot.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you hit the brake, you got two little dots, one there and one there. In the front. That's your parking, and that's your driving light for night.
I started out building models, models, planes, ships, and tanks and things like that, and that was cool. And when I got older, I saw an ad in the Craigslist for an old army truck, and it was just like a little thing. I went out and it was completely disassembled, and I reassembled it and built it and enjoyed doing that. And then I got involved in this project, and I set a really high sort of a goal for the completion of it. And as a reward to myself, really more of a joke than anything, I decided, if I meet that goal, then I'm gonna buy myself something really cool as a reward. And I knew a guy that had a half track, and I thought they were pretty cool. So I started looking up army vehicles for sale and stuff like that. And I found this website, and it was tanks for sale. And I'm like, well, that, I'm getting a tank. So sure enough, I ended up buying a tank out of England and shipping it all the way here. Yeah. And once you have one, well, you got to have more, because the first one's going to be lonely. So, sitting there in a field all by itself, sad. It's like a Disney movie with tanks. But yeah, so then I bought more tanks and more Jeeps and trucks and APCs, and I was able to justify it in that there wasn't much available to film. And there was a demand for it, so as long as there's a demand, I'll keep buying them. So, and that is pretty much it.
You think with the government's new pipeline, they would have filled these things up? What happened to the mirror? Did we break it?
It's gonna be empty.
The radiators are all empty. One of them was empty because it looks like they drained it. The second one has a bad water pump, so all the fluid leaked out. So we're now filling the third one just to see what happens, hoping that the pump's good. If not, just from looking at that other one, it's not going to be easy to change. I really hope we don't have to take the whole engine out to do it. So it's kind of a big deal.
Can you get to the pump pretty easy?
It's not too bad. It's a bit of doing. But, I'm still going to try and start it.
Oh, yeah. drives like effortlessly. Like it's just like the throttles has like just crazy response, and just you barely just touch the thing and it's turning.
Yeah.
So
compared to the old one.
yeah, yeah, with the tillers and you're like reefing on the tillers, but and then you just push the brake pedal.
Get used to it with the tiller. That's a big difference between them.
That would take some getting used to, especially on the road, because it's so responsive. It'd be like,
We caught wind of these being available better part of a year ago, and there's been a back and forth with applications even to be able to be allowed to buy them, and then registrations, and all finally got worked out. They got shipped out by truck last week, and just one of them got here a few days ago. The other two just arrived, and so we've been just bombing around playing with them like crazy little kids. They're M113A3 T-Lab variants, Canadian military. This is something done in Canada.
that was a blast. I finally have bought something that makes sense.
I'm pretty happy. Finally, you buy so much stuff that you have to do so much work to get it to do anything, and these are pretty turnkey. I mean, I got to do a water pump on that. No big deal. But yeah, the fact that we just got them, we can go plumb around is awesome. The reason we claim to have them is for film use, but really it's just because they're kind of awesome.
It's just more big toys. Yeah.
So, yeah. Between the two of us, we've probably got the most armor out of anybody.
Yeah, they're going to start to worry about us pretty soon, I think.
Certainly the most that runs.
Yeah, yeah. We're the most dangerous anyway. So.
Yeah, I'm a member of the British Columbia Regiment, and I've got more armor than they do.
Yeah.